research teacher and fellow researchers, good day. I am Jenna Velare and I will introduce my co-researchers, Mr. Harvey Ocero, Mr. Jose Kobe Nuez, and Ms. Christine Joy Mullins. From Group 6, presenting our research entitled Socioeconomic Status Influencing the Academic Performance of Financial Management Students in University of Mindanao. So, for the chapter 1, we have the background of the study. Education is the most important tool to establish changes in the society. Therefore, academic performance can be considered as an outcome of education that can improve students' value and better self-esteem in the society. However, academic performance depends on socio-economic status of the parent, which is definitely germane to individual. According to Marjorie Banks noong 1996, families with high socio-economic status often have more success in preparing their students for school as they can support financially and can easily access to a wide range of resources. In this study, the researcher aims to determine if low and high-level socioeconomic status has effect negatively or positively in the academic performance of financial management students in University of Mindanao. Furthermore, the result of this study will somehow help the students to gain more learnings about this particular situation. It is expected that there is a significant positive correlation between socioeconomic status and academic performance of the students. Next is the statement of the problem. This study aims to explain and determine the effects of socioeconomic status to the academic performance of financial management students of University of Mindanao. This study targets to answer the following questions. First, how socioeconomic status of the family affects the academic performance of the students in terms of the following demographics. First, gender. Second, family income. And last, members of the family. Second, what are the significant differences in a socioeconomic status and academic performance of the financial management students in University of Mindanao in terms of high-level socioeconomic status, middle-level socioeconomic status, and low-level socioeconomic status? Last, is there a significant relationship between socioeconomic status and academic performance of the students? So, for our hypothesis statement, we have the null hypothesis, which is there is no significant relationship between socioeconomic status and academic performance of the financial management students in University of Mindanao. And for our alternative hypothesis, is there is a significant relationship between socioeconomic status and academic performance of the financial management students in University of Mindanao.
So now let's move to RRL, or Review for Related Literature. So this chapter presents related studies that give deeper information and understanding pertaining to the effects of socioeconomic status in the academic performance of the students. So it has 4 indicators up to the present for the study. It's how poverty, family background, school environment, and peer influence affect the academic performance of the students. So first is poverty. Poverty. The World Bank 2014 states that he or she is considered poor if the person's earnings will fall from its minimum income level. According to Orshansky 2009 found that families spend 1/3 of its income for food. So those who are living in squatter areas or living in a poor economic status have the chance to be more stressed, more intense, and longer lasting stress that may give negative effect on the children's physical, psychological, emotional, and cognitive IQ and social skills. Imagine living in a squatter area. It's so hard to eat 3 times a day, and so hard to have 8 hours of sleep, doesn't have a good shelter, and so on and so forth. So these are the factors that affects people's health and how they interact with each other. According to Sohail 2003, she pointed out not only behavior matter, it matters more than it used to. However, Vail 2016 discussed that the authors failed to point out the behavior is not entirely a result of an individual's own will. Therefore, it cannot be fully corrected by tough love policies. Family background has a big role in students' life and learning of students inside and outside of school. It includes factors such as socioeconomic status, family sizes, family structure, and parenting practices and aspiration, according to Majority Banks 1996. The environment to film is the first socialization agent that influences students' life and their interest in school. Goldman in 1966 concluded on a study that school don't matter. It stated that families has a big impact of students' achievements than the function of schools that they attended. According to Haynes 2002, socioeconomic status of a child is determined by the combination of parent occupational status, parents' educational level, and parents' income and wealth. Studies have frequently found that students' achievement influenced by the parents' socio-economic status. According to Barodin and Luster in 1998, Haynes in 2002, Yaman in 2005, Majoribas in 1996, Hochschild 2003, McNeil 2001, and Seifert 1998. Students from high-educated families with a high income are more likely to succeed academically in high school because they are able to sustain their children with basic stationaries, tuition, and obligations. So the third one is a school environment. Students' educational outcomes and academic performance is influenced by the type of school that they attend. There are school factors that can affect the students' performance. These factors include school structure, school composition, and school climate, according to Krosnow et al. 2004. Krosnow, Johnson, and Elder 2004b suggest that class size and school sector, private or public, are the important structural components that can influence a student's performance. Krosnow et al. 2004 stated that private school tends to have a smaller class size and better funding. Students who studied in private schools lead to better academic performances because of their funding. They are able to access in a wide range of resources that enhance their performances, according to Krosnow et al. 2004 and Yamon 2005. So last but not the least, the peer influence. Having a group of peers is an important instrument to socialization. Part of the primary development is experiencing peer group activities, and the character of adolescents is often closely acquainted to their compeers. Santor et al. 2000. Since peer groups are a fundamental part of the development process, they can have a disadvantageous effect on young people. Through peer pressure and peer conformity, higher degrees of peer pressure, which is the pressure from others to be unspecified activities, and peer conformity, which is the degree to which individual adopts actions that are authorized by their peer group. It have been displayed to increase the probability of risk-taking actions such as substance abuse and sexual activity, according to Saunter et al. 2000. These risk-taking behaviors circuitously affect school performance in a negative manner.
And now, let's proceed to the theoretical framework. In order to separate the complexity between socioeconomic status and academic performance, the researcher adopted the socio-psychological approach. This approach bears similarity to sociological imagination proposed by Mills 1970. The following are the factors that covered by the socio-psychological theory. First is wealth. According to Greenwald, Hedges, and Lane 1994, the amount of available educational resources was positively linked to the academic achievement of the students. Therefore, money can be considered as the factors that may be influence the academic performance of the students. Second is the family. According to Bandora 1996, parents' education and family interaction during childhood can be linked directly to the children's educational development. Behavior of the students was shaped through observational and direct learning experiences, Bandora 1996. Learning takes a course of interactive action and reactions of their parents, which included in the learning process of the children and which the socialization will develop. And third is the society. Society and education are tightly bound entities and hence cannot be separated from each other. Pallavi 2010. Society builds a strong foundation for each other and help us to create an identity of being who we are. Our society represents us a major facilitator of education. Next is conceptual framework. These frameworks present the relationship of socioeconomic status and the academic performance of the students. The variable X or the independent variable is the social and economic, and the variable Y or the dependent variable is the academic performance of the financial management students as an outcome of the given independent variable. So, significance of the study. The significance of this study is to examine and determine if there is a significant positive relationship between socioeconomic status and academic performance of the financial management students in University of Mindanao. Academic performance will represent the credibility of the students as a final output in the school. This study can be of significance to the following. Students. This will allow students to understand how the socioeconomic status of their family has impacted their academic performance at school. And this will also give them an understanding of why their grades are high or low. Parents. This will benefit the parents as it will give them more knowledge about how their socioeconomic status influences academic performance of their children. Future researchers. This research will fill in as heading and reference in their studies for the progression of information that they may use later on or in the future. So, scope and delimitation. This study does not involve other social and environmental factors. It focuses only on socioeconomic status of the family, on how it affects the academic performance of their children, and will be conducted in University of Mindanao. Definition of terms. For clarity and easy understanding of the study, the following major terms were herein defined operationally. Poverty. It refers to the earnings of an individual falling from their minimum level of income. Family background. Factors such as socioeconomic status, family structure, family sizes, ambitions, and practice of parenting are included. School environment. Refers to these factors such as school structure, school composition, and school climate. Peer influence refers to a group of peers that become important instrument in socialization. Socioeconomic status, a term for referring to prestige based on measure of socioeconomic position as determined by rankings in a social hierarchy. Academic performance refers to the measurement of students' achievement across various academic subjects.
Hello, I'm the last reporter. Chapter 2, Methodology. This chapter introduces the design of the study, locally of the study, and the respondents, the instrument, procedure, and the statistical tools to be used in the collecting significant data to contribute to the effectiveness of this study. Research design. This study will use descriptive research design in the analysis. Descriptive research design is a scientific method which involves describing the behavior of the particular subject. Through this method, the quantitative research is discussed broadly. Research subject. Participants selection. The researchers will randomly select 50 financial management students, cluster based on the economic status per year, level and University of Mindanao as a sample from the population of the study. The researchers will pick random students in each year level. The data will be gathered through primary sources. The primary data is the original data collected first-hand, especially for the purpose of research. Simple random sampling is a sampling technique for every item in the population as an even chance being of being selected in the sample. The researcher used this sampling technique as it is the basic type of sampling method and can easily be a component of a more complex sample method. Locally of the study. The present study will be conducted on different year levels of University in Mindanao. Research instruments. The researchers will use validated questionnaire to collect the data from the selected respondents. Questionnaire are urgent instrument for gathering data. The questionnaire was divided into 4 parts. The following is the layout of the questionnaire for the present study. The first part of the questionnaire comprises of the questions related to the demographics and general information of the respondents like gender, age, grade level, marital status, family background, family income, and family structure. The second part of the questionnaire comprises of the questions related to the socio-economic status of the respondents. The third part of the questionnaire comprises of the questions related to the academic performance of the respondents. The last part of the questionnaire comprises of the question related to facts that determine the correlation of socio-economic status and academic performance. Data gathering procedure. The following are the steps followed by the research in collecting data. First, the researchers will ask permission to the foremost of the school by a letter. After the approval of the analyst continued to make the questionnaire. Second, the researchers will gather data from the respondents using the validated questionnaire. 3. All the activities of the researchers will be recorded on the research journal. Lastly, the researchers will analyze and interpret the result using statistical tools. Statistical treatment of data. The data of present study will be analyzed and interpreted through the use of statistical tool. The t-test will be applied on this study to determine the correlation between socio-economic status and the academic performance of the financial management students in the University of Mindanao. Mean. This is used to determine the level of the academic performance of the respondents. Correlation analysis. It determines the relationship between socio-economic status and the academic performance of the students. That's all. Thank you.
These are our references.